Hello, we're here from St. Mary's College. I'm Kimmy Zuluaga.
And I'm Chelsea O'Sullivan, and today we're going to show you how to make a soil block. So what that means is we're going to take this soil blocking contraption, pack some mixture into it, and make a nice little block for a seedling to grow into. But first we're going to show you how to make the soil blocking mixture.
So one of the main ingredients of a soil block is the base fertilizer, and that is made up of 3 equal parts of 3 ingredients. The first is green sand, which releases potassium. The second is blood meal, which releases nitrogen, and the third is colloidal phosphate.
So once you mix all of these together in equal parts, and you can use a cup like this to be your part as long as they're the same size, you get something like this. You can see it's a real sandy texture, but you take this and mix it into the overall mixture, which includes ingredients like this.
First we have perlite, then coir, compost, lime, and soil.
So the perlite is really like packing material, or like packing popcorn. It's used to aerate the soil and allow the roots to grow freely and bring lots of oxygen to the roots and the plant in general. The coir is actually made from the husk of a coconut, and what that does is it absorbs lots of moisture and holds the water in the soil for the plant to use. The coir is a much more sustainable option than the alternative of peat moss, because peat moss grows or is created in bogs, which are really good carbon sinks, and when you harvest the peat moss, even for purposes such as gardening, you tend to release lots of carbon, which is really unsustainable. Also, the husks of the coconut tend to go to landfills if we're not using them for purposes such as this. So it's a really good option. The other part is the compost, and the compost is a source of little microbes. These microbes are really important because they allow the plant to absorb the things that are in the base fertilizer. Without this symbiotic relationship, the plant has a really hard time of utilizing the great things that you've put in the soil for them. The lime serves a similar function of helping the plant also to absorb these base fertilizer components. And the dirt is a good mixture to keep consistent throughout the entire overall mixture, and also makes it the same as the soil that the plant's going to be transplanted in. So once you get all your ingredients mixed together, you add the water to get the right consistency, and what you get looks something like this. So it's really moist, kind of like a Play-Doh-y texture. You can see the perlite in there, very light and airy. And so what you do is you take your soil blocker and you pack as much soil as you can in there to make it really dense. It's pretty easy because the soil is kind of sticky in texture, so that it's so moist. You can even use your hand to compact it in there more. Once you feel like it's packed in enough, you want to make sure that you level off the bottom, so when you lay down your soil blocks, it's a level block for your plant to grow in. So Kimmy's using a stir stick to level that off. And then we'll take a tray. Oh, you got it. Okay. And this is the technique to release your soil blocks out of the soil blocker. So you push down on the top here, and that's going to push the soil blocks out, and then you want to lightly lift up the overall contraption so the soil blocks just kind of fall right out. So Kimmy did an awesome job here, but as you can see, it's nice and compact. I can actually pick it up and play with it. And there's also a little divot in the top, which is where your seedling will go, and you can cover up the seedling. And once your seedling starts to grow, it looks something like this. So this is a little tomato plant that we've been growing for a couple of weeks. And you can see on the side here, there's actually roots growing out of the side. And that's really one of the big advantages of using a soil block, because when the roots get to the edge, they just hit air, which is a natural inhibitant of roots growing. If you have it in a plastic bowl like you normally do, or a plastic pot, the roots tend to start growing around and around, which means when you transplant the plant, the roots are growing the wrong direction to make a smooth transition. So your soil block really makes the transplanting process easier for your little tomato plant, and will be better for increasing your yield and getting a yield more quickly out of your transplanted seedlings. Now, if you're not ready to transplant, but you see the roots have reached their edge and maybe your little seedling's outgrowing its soil block, what you can do is make a bigger soil block. Now, to make that soil block, we used this contraption, which has dirt in it. All right, so to do that, well, there comes another one. To do that, you see there's actually a hole up here that is about the size of a regular size soil block. So what that means is it's like a mold. So you can take your little seedling and just plop it right in the top of the larger soil block, And there it's ready to not be transplanted for another couple weeks because it has much more soil for the roots to grow in.
I've never seen this in my life until today, and it's so much easier than the plastic boxes, and I have to tell my mom. She's the one in charge of planting this in our house.
How does it work?
You just take soil and you compact it into the spaces in this contraption, and then you push down on the top, and out come 4 little perfect soil boxes, and you just put the seed in the hole, cover it up with a little bit of soil, leave it in something like this until it sprouts, and then you can take it and put it wherever you chose to plant it. And it prevents the waste of the plastic around them like you would buy at a nursery. A little water with your soil and heat this across the floor. Take your soil, mix it up, take a little bit of here, push it in. Right here, cover it up. There you go. And that's your home for your seedling. That's wonderful.